Hello everyone! Today I have an adorable card to share with you. Actually, I have 4 cards to share with you. This is a waterfall card, and the beauty of this waterfall card is when you pull the little tab, your greeting is revealed along with some other images. Isn't that adorable? This is our little cookie version. I am doing 4 different versions using the A Little Cheesy stamp set. This is in our annual catalog. This stamp set is so much fun, and I made a waterfall version for all 4 of these images. So let's go through them, and we're actually going to make the pudding one. So this is the cookie one. I'll show you this one again. So you pull that, and you just have this waterfall of images and greetings, and the card still opens on the inside so you can write a message. All right, let's look at our next one. This is the wine version. So you can see how fun and how gorgeous that is. When there's wine, there's a way. So cute. All right, and then this is the cheese version. This one's a little bit different because I did some different things with the background here, but it's the same concept. You have the cheese, and it might sound cheesy, but I think you're great. So such a fun little stamp set, and we're gonna make another one. We're gonna make the pudding one to go with this. So all of the supplies for these 3 cards will be featured on my blog. If you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link in my video description to head to my blog to check out the details for each and every one of these cards. The one I'm gonna feature though, where I told you we're gonna do the pudding one, and I've already done a little bit of prep work for it. So let's talk about all our supplies, and again, all the measurements will be in the video description and on my blog. So your card base is going to be your standard card base. It's going to be 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So this is just your standard card base, nothing fancy here. I have a background piece for this one. I used the brick and mortar embossing folder on this one. This is Flirty Flamingo. I don't think I mentioned that. This one is soft Seafoam, and the background is 5 1/4 by 4. The other backgrounds, you can see they're embossed. The cookie one has the, I want to say, the hive embossing folder, the quarter foil for the wine one, and then like I said, I just did some die cutting for this background. So they're all a little bit different, but they're really fun. All right, so let's go ahead. Oh, before we glue this down, I don't want to glue that down. Let's finish talking about our supplies. I have a piece of soft suede that is 1 by 4, and this is going to make kind of like our anchor, is what I'm calling it for our card. So we're gonna deal with this piece in a minute. And then this is gonna be our actual waterfall piece, and I've already scored this. And again, all the measurements will be on my blog. This is 8 1/2 by 2 1/2, and I've scored it at 2 1/2, 3, 3 1/2, and 4. And so before we go much further, I'm going to give this a really quick burnish on all 4 of those score lines. They're all going to go in the same direction, so you're going to end up with something that kind of looks like this. And when you fold it in half, the back is going to be a little bit longer, but that's what we want. So if you score it and you think, oh, I must have done something wrong, the back is longer, you did nothing wrong, don't worry. Okay, so we're going to actually adhere a little anchor piece down. Now, we don't want to adhere it down with glue. We're just going to use some brads. So I have our round and square brads here, and I'm going to find 2 white squares. Okay, these are such good brads. They come in squares and circles in black and white. So I'm going to use my take your pick tool, and I'm going to just kind of line this up about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. Make sure it's somewhat straight, and just punch 2 holes on the opposite sides there. I'm going to stick my brads in before we lift it up. That way nothing moves. We're going to lift that up, and then we're just going to anchor that soft suede piece to the soft Seafoam with those brads. All right, that is ready to go on our card base now. So now we can stick this onto our card base. So I'm going to use some strong adhesive. I'm just using Stampin' Seal for this. Use a good strong adhesive because this is going to get a lot of pulling. So I'm using quite a bit of it, but like I said, it's going to get a lot of pulling. And we're going to put this on the front of our card. Now the middle should not be adhered down, so just make sure that you can slide things in and out. And we are going to stick this piece right in there. So you can see this piece is slid inside that little slot, and we are going to adhere this down. But the only place you want to adhere it down is on the front of this anchor piece. So I'm going to use a super strong adhesive. Now I'm moving to Stampin' Seal. I would recommend tear and tape or the Tombow liquid glue for this. Now I'm going to leave this piece in. So I've lifted up the flap here. And I'm going to leave this piece in so that I know how wide I need to put my adhesive. And I'm just going to put a couple little lines of adhesive there. And we're going to line this edge. Now all the score lines are on this side. So we're going to line this edge up with the bottom of this edge. And I'm just going to center it as best I can. Just line that up. And then that should sit nice and flat. You should be able to move this up and down. Okay? All right, we're getting there. It's not as hard as it looks, I promise. All right, so our next step, we have 3 1/2-inch lines right here. We have 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to take some tear and tape, and I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape inside each of those lines, in between each score line. If I can see them. I have a lot of lights on and it reflects all on my project, so sometimes it's hard to see stuff. Okay, so we're going to leave all of those on there, and we're going to come back to that later. If you can hear something chiming, that's actually my clock. I was trying to get this recorded before it went off, but I don't think I succeeded. All right, we're going to do our stamping now. Now I've already done a little bit of stamping. I've already stamped our pudding twice. We need to stamp it a total of 3 times. I've already colored these in. I colored this one in to look like some pistachio pudding, and I colored this one in to look like some vanilla pudding. And we're going to stamp one more, and we're going to color it to look like chocolate pudding. So I'm going to use my Memento black, my Tuxedo Black Memento, and we're going to ink that up, and we're going to stamp that onto our square. And now the white piece is a 2 by 2 inch square. The soft suede that it is layered on is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and the Flirty Flamingo piece is 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. All right, now for our last square here, we are going to stamp our greening. And I'm going to try to get it straight, but we'll see. I think this card is so cute that even if it's a little crooked, nobody's going to care. Okay, now you're going to need 4 of each of those pieces total. You're going to need 4 2 by 2 whites, 4 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 soft suede, and 4 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 Flirty Flamingos. All right, now let's color our little pudding. We're going to start with the bowl. We're going to start with Flirty Flamingo. And I'm going to start with my light color, my light Flirty Flamingo. So up here on the top of my bowl, kind of that top part, and then this very bottom part, I'm going to color in with the light. And we're going to come in with the dark. The rim, I'm going to do dark Flirty Flamingo. And then, because a bowl is a curved object, the darker areas are going to be on the sides. When the bowl curves around, the lightest area is going to be on the front where the curve is. So I'm adding my dark only to those sides, and the bottom I'm just going to make all dark Flirty Flamingo. All right, now we're going to come back in with that light. I'm going to choose my other end. I'm going to come back in with that light Flirty Flamingo and just kind of blend that out. That will give us some really good dimension on our bowl. Okay, so that is our Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to put these away as I go so that we don't lose them. All right, for my little band in the middle here, I'm going to use some light Smoky Slate, just a little bit on each side, and then I'm going to come in with my color lifter and just blend that out. So it's going to look shaded in the middle, but then darker on each side. Isn't that fun? All right, now I don't want my whipped cream to look like it wasn't colored. So I'm just going to use my light Smoky Slate and just very lightly around the swirls, just add a little bit, just a little touch of color. And then with that color lifter, just blend that out. And that way it gives just a little bit of shading to the whipped cream, but the whipped cream still appears white. Okay, so let's put those away. All right, our spoon is crumb cake. I'm going to start with my dark crumb cake, and in here where it's stuck into the pudding, it's going to be a little darker, and then the top of the spoon is going to be a little darker. So we'll come in with our light crumb cake and just blend those together. Blend out that top and blend it together. All right, so that was our crumb cake. And finally, to make our chocolate pudding, we're going to use some soft suede. Although now that I think about it, I think I'm going to go in with my Natural Tones Dark. This is the SU100, the SU200. I think I'm just going to use the 100. This video was planned kind of last minute. I'm trying to get it done before my son gets home from school. So it is such a cute card. I had to share it with you guys. And I thought the best way to explain this is going to be through a video. So I threw everything together and I am now working on it. Isn't that cute? Look at that chocolate pudding. So fun, right? So yummy. All right, now we are going to put these together. So these are already mounted on their soft suede and flirty flamingo pieces. So we're going to pull this in. And let me see, I'm going to get this glue. This adhesive, just Stampin' Seal. We're going to adhere a printing piece to the soft suede. And then this piece to a piece of flirty flamingo. Our square of flirty flamingo here. And the same with our greeting. Okay, soft suede and then flirty flamingo. Okay. Last little bit of glue. Okay, now putting it together from here is really easy. I'm going to put some glue all on the back of just our greeting piece. The other ones don't put any adhesive on. And we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. I'm going to line the top of our greeting piece with that very bottom score line. So I'm just going to make sure that goes on the bottom score line. And this square right here should be 2.5 by 2.5, so it should fit on there perfectly. And you can check as you go, make sure everything is still working. All right, I'm going to grab my scissors, or you can use your take your pick tool. I'm going to peel off the first layer of the tear and tape backing there, and we're going to line up the top edge of this piece with the next score line. So the only place that it's being adhered to is right along where that tear and tape was. So there is no adhesive on the back here. And you can put your little pudding cups in whatever order you want. I think I'm going to go chocolate, vanilla, and then pistachio. So we're going to do the same thing, line the top up with the top of that score line. Just like that, and one more. Okay, so our chocolate one is going to go right on top. Okay, so let's give this a little test and see if it works. So our pudding cups all kind of waterfall down with the greeting as the last one. So adorable. So our final touch for the card is actually just adding some ribbon. So I'm going to pull this all the way out so I have lots of room to work with down here. And I'm going to just use a regular hole punch and just kind of eyeball center and just punch about 1/4 inch from the center or from the bottom. I'm going to grab a little bit of this soft seafoam seam binding. This is in our current holiday catalog, our current mini catalog. I'm going to fold it in half, thread it from the front to the back, and then I'm just going to loop these tails into the loop part here. I can get it all to work here. Thread those tails in there. And then you want to gently just pull. You can pull them one at a time. That'll tighten it too. But you don't want to pull so hard that you're going to pull it right through and rip it. And then just give it a little trim. And now you have a little handle to pull on. So isn't that fun? Such a fun little card to hand out to a friend, to hand out to a family member. Anybody would love this card. It's so much fun. Now, if you want to indicate that they need to pull this little handle, you can always draw a couple little arrows to indicate that they need to pull this down to activate it. All right, let's take a look at all of them again. This is our pudding one. Thanks for putting up with me. So adorable. I think this pudding one might be my favorite, but I don't know. I think I love them all. The cookie one is adorable too. The little cookie, it says year one tough cookie. Adorable as well. We have our wine one again. So adorable. Where there's a wine, there's a way. And finally our cheese one, where it says, it might sound cheesy, but I think you're great. So you can let me know which one is your favorite. Do you love the pudding, the cookie, the wine, or the cheese? Let me know in the comments which one you love the most. If you want to purchase anything, please head to my online store. I do have a current host code. You can check that out and check out the benefits of shopping in my online store with me. If you want supplies and measurements for all of these cards, you can check them for measurements in the video description. Supplies are listed in the video description for this card, but if you want supplies for the other 3 cards, make sure you head to my blog, which is also linked in the video description. Thank you guys for joining me so much. Please subscribe to my channel. That really helps me out. Give me a thumbs up on this video if you liked it, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great day. Bye.